Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So we're in the middle of Self-Care September, and there's never a better time than now than to choose to care for yourself. And I'm happy to give you 30 days of hot tips, all completely free, for which we are technically on day 18. But it doesn't matter what month it is or what day it is, just choose to show some self-care. All right, my friends, today was don't compare how you feel inside to how others appear outside. Again, appearance is not everything, you know? Everybody has a backstory, and often it is awful. And everybody has a personal struggle, and often their struggle is worse than even yours. So compassion and love, but to compare yourself or put yourself down based on how people appear to look, not so much. Okay, for tomorrow, day 19, it's a good one, and it happens to be a Saturday. It's get active outside and give your mind and body a natural boost. So get out there, get active, and give your mind and body a natural boost. I'm in the high desert. There is so much smoke, excuse me, that I will absolutely not choose to implement this one, but I can certainly move my body, and I can give my body a natural boost through the nutrients that I choose to put in it. So I'm still in. I'm just not going to do that outside until some of the smoke clears. Continued prayers for all of the West Coast and, of course, for California. So in addition to self-care, I'm in the middle of a fantastic article, of which I will share in the description of the video, which is about taste buds. And part of the reason for that is because I've been noticing how mine are starting to clean up, and to where simple foods and foods that I did not necessarily find appealing are not only palatable, but I enjoy them. I will also mention that other senses, of course, are becoming more acute, such as smell. I already had a great sense of smell, but mostly for the horrificness around me. But it's refreshing when I can just suddenly smell the fragrance of fresh fruit, you know, just as it's starting to ripe, or delicious teas, and just some really pleasant smells, which I will happily welcome as well. So yesterday I shared the first half of this video, and I will absolutely, forgive me, in my video I shared the first half of this article, which I will most certainly share as part of this post. And I do want to warn you that it is not all vegan. It is certainly not all raw vegan. But the point of it and the importance of regaining your taste buds is worth the story. So this was called Taste Back Your Taste Buds. Highly flavored processed foods have hijacked our sense of taste, driving unhealthy cravings and sabotaging our health for too long. It's time to reclaim our palates. And this is part 2. I'm just going to go over the subheadings for this. I'm hoping you'll take the time to see part 1. But in part 1, it talked about the biology of taste. Like, for instance, when a taste receptor recognizes a flavor such as sweet, salty, sour, bitter, or umami, which is savory, it sets off a biochemical reaction called transduction, translating chemical information from the taste stimulus into the electrical message that travels through the cranial nerves to the gustatory cortex of your brain. It's like all scientific like that. I will move on. The next part was taste buds led astray. And for instance, it said things like trying to satisfy our inherent cravings for sugars, fats, and sodium with hyper-flavored convenience food fails to meet our health and nutrition needs, and actually makes us crave even more processed foods. It's such an irony, isn't it? My gosh, how often I think in my life I've thought, oh, this tastes terrible. Finished it anyway. Wow, that's really bad for me. Participated anyway. Oh, it's just such an ironic tendency, I guess, for humans. Okay, but this was part 2. So this is the focus of part 2. 6 ways to reclaim your taste, and it's 6 strategies. Again, I'll be posting this, so you don't have to take notes per se. But strategy number 1 is cleanse your palate. Whether you gradually ease off highly flavored processed foods or eliminate them all at once, your sense of taste will eventually become more attuned to subtler flavor variations. I agree. Now that I've been raw, like primarily raw for the last couple of years, something will taste incredible to me, and people just go, oh, like, I'll compare a dressing I made. Isn't it so incredible? And they're like, it's not exactly, ranch dressing or whatever from the store. I get it. You really do have to get your taste buds attuned to the new flavors. So it says you might notice a difference within just a few weeks of eliminating the bad stuff. And after a while, you'll begin to taste things such as the natural sodium in vegetables that you've never tasted before. No matter what, I've been able to taste the salt in a tomato. I've been able to taste the salt in celery, like all my life. So that part didn't change. One way to jumpstart this palate cleansing, let's take it in. Tip number 1. One way to start the palate cleansing is to serve yourself the good stuff first. Eat your veggies before digging into the other food on your plate, giving yourself the opportunity to savor their delicate taste and textures. I'd say most people aren't brave enough to do that, but on the other hand, in restaurants and things, they generally serve you a salad before the actual entree, right? So that's interesting. Number 2, slow down. And we've probably heard this. I have certainly heard this my entire life. Back when my father would say, did you even taste that, or did you just inhale? Slow down, because it takes like 20 minutes at least for the body to even register that it's eaten, let alone full. So it reads, people are used to eating food that's so highly processed that they don't take much effort or time to be consumed. Food texture expert says that her research in the 60s and 70s showed that most steaks required chewing up to 25 times on average before swallowing. Are you kidding me? To actually chew 25 times before swallowing. I don't see people do that. Now, consumers are most comfortable with foods that are chewed maybe 10 or 15 times. Maybe 10 or 15 times. I do see people inhale food. I mean, that's kind of the nature of the game as a teacher, though. Like, we barely get time, and most of our recess, even when we have time, is spent prepping for the next thing. So many of us are all too good at just mowing down our food in 5 to 7 minutes. When I make my salads now, and granted, they're enough for a small country, but still, when I make my salads, when I make my banana boats, etc., it can take me 35, 50 minutes. I'm not kidding you. When I hear that a raw vegan consumed their food in 15 minutes, I'm like, drank it maybe, but physically chewed it and ate it? Not me. It's astounding. To bring out the full flavor of what you're eating, chew slowly and mindfully. This will also aid with digestion and help you get the most nutrition out of your food. Number 3, try something new. If you're trying to introduce your taste buds to sensations beyond salty and sweet, broaden your horizons with food from one of the other taste categories at each meal, such as sour, meaning citrus or sauerkraut, bitter, meaning turmeric or dark chocolate, and umami, the rich, meaty taste found in mushrooms, tomatoes, and red meat. And might I suggest, don't tell me what it's called because I love it so much. I almost saw it. You know when you can see something but you can't say it? Hold on. Oh, smoked paprika. When I put smoked paprika, even on a salad, it just all of a sudden seems like this rich meal. It's really interesting to me. Okay, processed foods numb the taste buds, but indulging in true flavor can help reclaim them. Sorry. She uses the mnemonic acronym FASS as a reminder to include healthy fats, taste bud brightening acids, flavor enhancing salt, and mellowing sweetness in every meal. So FASS stood for fats, acids, salt, and sweetness. Well, there's a whole PDF on it. That could be another conversation. Number 4, make a positive connection. Remember the fun gathering with your neighbors before the COVID when you amiably tried baba ganoush? I don't know what that is. Baba ganoush for the first time? It turns out that recalling happy times associated with tasting nutritious foods can help you acquire a new taste, even for eggplant. We learned to like foods through positive associations. Well, I agree with that. So, just because you couldn't stand overcooked peas in your school lunch doesn't mean your taste buds won't flip eventually for freshly shucked peas from the farmer's market. So true. My husband has the most limited diet I've ever seen in my life. He says no to everything like a spoiled little child. I'm like, there is a chance that your taste buds has changed. There is a chance that this texture won't make you throw up. He's super, super limited that way. Oh my gosh. Junk food, he'll find his way. But when it comes to real, it's like, oh. Okay, strategy number 5, get your brain on board. I love that. That's just a good mantra for life. Get your brain on board. Looking forward to eating a food you love provides real pleasure. So allow yourself to build up a sense of anticipation, especially if you're about to eat a food you particularly enjoy. And if it's a food you don't normally like, warm up the analytical part of the brain instead. Set out to collect some interesting data about its health benefits, texture, flavor, temperature, that might help you overcome your initial aversion. Sidebar. So I've been struggling at some point during the day. I've been intermittent fasting a lot. I mean, meaning beyond 12 hours, beyond 14 hours, beyond 16 hours, beyond 18 hours, 20 hours. Okay, literally 20 hours, because I'm in so much pain in my mouth all the time. And I need to get this assessed, but I don't know how to go about it. But anyway, I'm in so much pain in my mouth that I only want my Invisaligns to be out for 4 hours and to consume my food in that 4 hours. I'm not recommending this to anyone, okay? I'm not even recommending it. And I don't really believe that it'll make a difference for people who say, oh man, the more you intermittent fast, the more weight, la la la. It says you can lose 8% more. That's 8 pounds on 100 pounds. Okay, most people aren't going to lose 100 pounds, but yay, you'll lose 8 pounds faster. You got 50 pounds to lose. Again, not that many people. You're going to lose 4 more pounds by torturing yourself with intermittent fasting. Oh, but you've got 25 pounds to lose. Ooh, don't hurt yourself. You're going to actually lose 2 pounds more than you would have. And I know, I sound like a smart beep, but I don't think it's great, but if that perception changes, I'll get back to you. Okay, so the thing is, though, at some point during the day, and it would have been true anyway, but it's more so since I'm literally not eating till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I start freaking out, and I start dreaming about junk and dreaming about, processed foods, and it's just my lesser self, starts to go crazy. And then just recently, I've been able to actually tell myself, but wait, we get to have blank bananas with, romaine and da-da-da. And because you're only eating in that 4-hour window, you're going to be able to have, avocado with da-da-da. And you could even have banana ice cream with dessert and some dates. And you know what I mean? Like, I've been allowing myself to get hungry over the healthier choices. It's a new concept to me, but I've been noticing it, and I'll welcome the mindset change. Okay, so number 6, try and try again. So research has showed that repeated exposure can increase how much you like a particular food. And while that's a good reason to keep dishing up spinach to your kids at dinner time, it's a course of action that can work just as well for you, too. The more times you eat something, the more times you enjoy a happy moment while eating that food, the more you'll end up liking it. For some bitter foods, it may take up to 20 separate tastings before your taste buds finally like it. Wow. If anyone has the courage to do 20, I love that. Try different preparations to see, because do you see how swollen this is? I don't know what I'm going to do, people. I am broken and all under here. I know, because you're just like, she looks so relaxed and then going on inside here. Okay. Try different preparations to see if you find one tastier than another. For example, if you don't care for roasted beets, try eating them raw in a salad. I like that idea. Okay, the war for our taste buds. To win grocery store dollars, processed food manufacturers have invested millions in captivating us with turbocharged flavors, delectable fats, irresistible crunchiness, and other seductive textures. Phenomenons such as Doritos, Jacked Ranch dipped hot wings, tortilla chips epitomize what journalist Mark Schatzker calls flavor dose creep in modern foods. In his book, The Dorito Effect, and I am familiar, Schatzker states that the Whole Foods began blasting blander. Wow. States that Whole Foods began tasting blander. I was going to say, what? Tasting blander beginning in the mid-1960s, when large-scale corporate farming and nationwide grocery store distributions replaced the local farm fresh goods. I know that. Authentic taste was the first casualty of food superbred in mass production, cross-country transportation, and shelf stability. The food we eat comes from farms and breeding facilities focused on productivity, affordability, and disease resistance, but not on flavor. A natural flavor suffers, and so does nutrition. Schatzker cites a 2004 study in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition showing that modern tomatoes have half as much calcium and vitamin A as they did in the 1950s. I'm not sure how that works for people who grow them for themselves, but even our seeds have been changed, right? Certainly our depleted soil. I mean, wouldn't that be that could be a great movie, actually. Oh man, that just gave me an amazing idea. Where somebody in the present, in an attempt to change their diet, goes back to the 50s and stuff like that and finds authentic food before it was perverted. It could be very interesting. I'll think about it. Okay, during the same era, the technical sophistication of synthetic flavorings took off. Flavors that used to be in foods you'd get from a farm were being produced in food processing factories. The result can be seen in the modern grocery store, where you might struggle to find a truly tasty tomato that can savor its zesty synthetic counterpart in a bag of ketchup-flavored potato chips found in the next aisle. Let me go over that again, because oh my gosh, is that so tragic? Okay, the results can be seen in the modern grocery store, where you might struggle to find a truly tasty tomato, but can savor the zesty synthetic counterpart in a bag of ketchup-flavored potato chips found in the next aisle. So true. Americans are increasingly choosing the fake over the real. Oh God, does that just break your heart? And again, this is 5 years ago. As a nation, we now consume more than 6 million pounds of synthetic flavorings a year, which is about 2 pounds per person. The flavor of fresh picked berries or carrots used to be our signal that food was nutrition. Now, our thrill-seeking taste buds drive us to crave foods that provide little in the way of nutrition, but lots in jazzed-up flavor. When you've been riding the roller coaster of lab-concocted taste sensations, it can be a challenge to opt instead for a quiet walk through the vegetable garden. Does that break your heart? That just breaks my heart. And yet I'm new. I'm new to the game of even saying, wait, what? Big brother, what? And he poisoned me how? And how was I tricked? And when did I give up my rights? And what do you mean this was in motion before I was even born? Like I'm kind of new. It's a Matrix moment. That's my new thing. It's a Matrix moment. I'm being asked to eat the red pill and wake up in the moment, and it's scary as heck. Yeah, and I just can't help but think we didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. And yet there's fire all around me, and to be fair, a lot of the consequences of it were already in play. All right, my friends, very interesting. Again, I will totally share that with you in the description of the video, the war on taste buds. Oh my. Let me just remind you really quickly what the 6 strategies were. And I hope you'll take a moment with this article. 1 was to cleanse your palate. So to be sure to actually eat other things that you haven't done before, and to always make sure that you're trying for your vegetables first. Number 2 was to slow down and even give your body a sense of registry that you're consuming food. 3 was to try something new. at every meal. Go for it. Number 4 was to make a positive connection. Actually enjoy these foods in a happy setting or amongst something that you love. Number 5 was to get your brain on board that it could take up to 20 chances for you to actually adjust to a food. And number 6 was to try and try again. Because ultimately, oh, forgive me, try and try again was the 20 separate chances. And to get your brain on board was to actually pre-tell your brain what's coming up, the textures and, all of the neat things about that food. All right, for me, like I said, I was just suddenly noticing that I'm eating foods rather simply that I could not consume long ago. And it wasn't for stomach issues. It was just because, why would I? There's so many great chemical-laden choices out there. Okay, like if you like, join us if you haven't, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. And best of all, my friends, know that health is yours for the taking and trust that you're blessed.